The idea is to take these two mediums and create a fusion, not to make commentary, not to use it as a club to make a point, but to have it operate. They operate on their own tracks, but they find a level, if it's efficacious, where there's a fusion that takes place between those mediums.
It's about observing accurately the distance between the image and the music. And this is a very different way of looking at it. For example, if you see a commercial, like a soft drink commercial or a beer commercial, what's happening, the pop of the can or the sound of the music, they're happening right on top of each other. There's no space in between them, and there's not supposed to be a space, because by doing it that way, that's the propaganda aspect of it. There's no room for you as a spectator to get in the middle. And the reason we don't like commercials, though we give prizes for them and people make a living at it, and so do I. I mean, my music is used in commercials too. The reason we don't like them is because there's no place for us in it, you know. So starting from that extreme example, which is an everyday occurrence if you just turn on your TV, and the question is, what happens when they're in that space? Let's say there's a distance between the image and the music, and when the spectator crosses that line, that's when they personalize the event. That's when it becomes theirs. The transaction between the music and the image happens during the time that the listener is traversing the space between the music and the image. You want to know all my secrets, don't you? I work so hard, and I'm going to give them away on this video. Are you kidding? Well, I'll tell you something. As a practical matter, let's take a part of a film like Vessels. Remember, we call it Vessels because that was kind of Scott's. It's where you see all the airplanes. And first, I looked at the image of the airplanes and said, well, what is the right music for this? And I looked at the planes, and what struck me as I looked at it, that the planes are these enormous, huge things. And yet, when you see them in the air, they seem so light and airy. And what I wanted to do was find a music that said that. That's what I was trying to say. And so I chose voices. I took voices, which is nothing is lighter and airier than voices, and I put the voices against the image of the planes, and boom, you had it. And then I began writing music for voices. I wrote a vocal composition to be listened to while we looked at the planes, and then it made us look at the planes in a different way. So in other words, the music has a powerful ability to tell us what we're seeing. The interesting thing about the grid is that the world doesn't really look like that, and yet it does. The world doesn't really go along at, how many times faster than real life are those images moving? I mean, I can't even, 100 times, 200 times, 300 times. The cars become lights that are moving. And you say, well, this isn't real. And yet, of course, from some perspective, it is real. And it's certainly real from the perspective that we have when we're looking at it. In other words, what Godfrey is showing you in that image, and this is what I got out of it, was that the world has a lot of ways of appearing to us. The way we see it is a cultural thing, it's a conditioned thing.
In the image that the people were seen taking the wieners out of the whatever that big squirting machine is where they come out, the same stuff that makes bologna fundamentally makes hot dogs. They change the formula a bit. And the same thing with the ladies with the Twinkies. I mean, hot dogs and Twinkies are Americana, and so I felt that they would certainly fit in there. Someone asked me what the film was about once, and I said it's about awesome beauty, terrible beauty, or the beauty of the beast. Some people say, well, this film's so celebratory of technology. Well, I didn't want to show the obviousness of injustice, of social deprivation, of war, of etc. I wanted to show that which we're most proud of, our shining beast, our way of life. So it was about the beauty of this beast. I think in terms of the feeling of the piece. I can't think about what people are going to think about it. What are the critics going to say? I'm trying to bring some resolution and realize that myself. It's a struggle. It's a process that gets us this. It's not like I do write a scenario and I do have a point of view, but at a certain point the words have to just disappear off the page as the image and the sound become that which you're responding to, and it tells you how to shape it. It speaks to you. You're trying to stay in touch with it, which you've helped to create.